Jay Williamson, and I'm a creative media specialist in the Center for Teaching Innovation at Cornell. So part of what I do is working on the VR initiative for implementing into teaching and learning. And I was brought into Cornell for a pretty unique partnership with a nanoscale facility and leveraging virtual reality for workforce development training. So we go into the lab and we shoot 360 video right now to capture and then put people inside of that with interactive content. Within the Center for Teaching Innovation at Cornell, Dr. Becky Lane has been leading the charge for creating a creative technology lab where faculty can come and ask questions, have consultations, and ask more and explore with the three pillars, which are virtual reality, so extended reality, including all of that, AI, and digital storytelling. So across those three, we have found ways to leverage virtual reality technology to make classes more engaging and really leverage the engaging pedagogical experience of some of these tools. Um, we are still working on trying to get the word out more and more that we are the center on campus that's available for all faculty, all disciplines. It's a really unique place to be able to support all of campus and not just one specific school. So while I work a lot on the nanoscale facility project, have also supported classes coming in for language learning. We've used a lot of virtual tours, going to other locations around the world and getting to experience cultural immersion there. Um, and then some homegrown VR development has been started. The entry to actually developing for your own content on your own campus can be a very big jump to have to make. You need to have Unity or some other game engine developers with some background in computer science, but then also having that connection to the instructional design is a really important piece. And so, what feels very fitting about our department being able to focus on this is that we have all of the resources on our own team. We have a media team, we have instructional designers, we have technical support. We're also very close. We work very closely with IT for the technical infrastructure as well. But a lot of it is, working together to find what is the best solution for the faculty member or, client on campus. And starting to think about developing from scratch is just so broad that, having resources like some sort of learning templates or, design elements can really help with making that process a little better. So we were very fortunate to actually receive the manufacturer CAD model of a tool that is in the nanoscale facility on campus. And it was stripped down to, remove any proprietary information, but it included every single screw, every single washer. And so I had to figure out, one, how do I optimize this model to make it actually playable in the headset? We had the chance to go into the lab and get an actual in-person demo. And then the goal was to recreate so that we could scale those in-person demos for folks that can't come to campus or, are somewhere else in the world to start learning about semiconductor manufacturing and how to operate a tool such as a plasma sputter deposition tool. So when you first arrive in this templatized, lab environment that we used from the Zoe example asset to save some time there, um, you walk up to the tool and you have a little tablet that gives you some of the instructions as reminder cues for the very procedural steps of running this tool. And because this is a $500,000 tool, you really don't want to break it the first time that you touch it. Um, and there can be some very, very expensive mistakes that if you start to practice in a lower stakes environment, such as virtual reality, then you can get a feel for having to do certain steps before you can move on. Since we started creating the 360 content, the long-term vision has always been to get it into some kind of mixed reality setup. And so whether that is going to be being able to place the tool on the table next to you or full scale and actually being able to mimic pushing the buttons, without the haptic feedback or adding in some haptics there to be able to have it in your living room or wherever you are. So what we would like to do is be able to get it into a pass-through view where you can, place it on an anchor and then be able to move it around with hand gestures as well. Because I think it's awesome to be able to have controllers with haptic feedback, but I think we're going to get to a point where it's more intuitive to actually use our hands to control things. Kind of like Iron Man and having that big visual of like AI interface. We're not there yet, but with a device on your face, we're almost kind of there. So yeah, we'd really love to keep working on this. It was a really great starting point to get some experience with Unity, and now we're working on upskilling ourselves so that we can keep working on this specific project, but then also applying it towards other places on campus. There's a lot of key stakeholders with getting virtual reality to actually scale up on a campus. You really need to have your IT people on board, whether they're actually managing the hardware for you or giving you just extra little bits of help with bypassing any gateways and things on the campus service. And then having an instructional designer to be able to actually ground it in pedagogical learning objectives and make sure that it's not detracting from the learning experience. We want to add to it. So anytime you're adding in a new technology, there's going to be some learning curve, and having to make sure that the technology is not a barrier, and that it's actually adding to the experience. And I would say that getting people into a good quality experience is really important upfront. But once they actually get a good experience, it can really blow your mind of what's possible. So we try to make sure, are you seated? Do you have any prior health, ins- uh, you know, implications? Do you have a tendency to feel motion sick? And being attuned to the person that you're actually putting in VR instead of just giving them a headset and saying, go try it. That can make a world of a difference for someone that's trying something new, but also a little hesitant and a little scared to actually really dive in.